get started, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about social media integration with GreenRope. My name is Alessandra Guyven. I'm the Marketing Director and Implementation Manager for GreenRope. You can find me at alessandra@greenrope.com or on Twitter at Miss Ali Christina. You can also join our LinkedIn users group, which hopefully most of you have done. Or if you've not done so, please go and search for us. It's just the GreenRope LinkedIn, our GreenRope CRM and Marketing Automations users group. And then, or our company page. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram as well. And again, those are all ways for you to kind of stay up to date on what we are doing, any updates, any recent upgrades, new blog posts, new features, upcoming webinars, all that good stuff. I also want to say that over the next coming months, we're launching a new webinar series called Marketing Madness, and we are going to have guest hosts that are going to be talking all about different topics surrounding marketing, from landing page creations, sales enablement, sales process, everything that goes into both your sales and marketing strategies. So keep on the lookout for those invites as well, and those will definitely, you won't want to miss those. So today our agenda, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to go through all of these. Social media advertising, kind of what is it, what it can be used for, what are the benefits, social media channels and ad types, using Zapier, creating your workflows and your journeys, and then of course we will do a full Q&A. So let's get started right away. So social media advertising, why it's a good strategy. And obviously a lot of you are already using social media in your everyday strategy. I'm not, 100% sure whether you're all using social advertising, but social media as a whole is a great way to expand your reach to an entirely new audience, and an even greater audience than you would normally be able to get through email marketing and some other and different marketing strategies. Social media has proven to be very great for awareness, engagement, and lead generation, and that's what we're going to primarily talk about here today. So benefits of social media advertising. Well, the first part is it's a lot less expensive than a lot of other forms of advertising. If you, I'm sure a lot of you have had experience with, being tried to sell, being sold ads, ad spaces in magazines or on radio or in newspapers, even PPC. That can be pretty costly. Event sponsorships, again, really expensive. I mean, some events can cost, as much as, $20,000 just for a booth. So it's, social media has allowed businesses, especially small and medium-sized businesses, really all businesses, but small and medium-sized businesses, to expand their reach without digging deep into their pockets. And that's been one of a huge thing for us, is because many of you know GreenRope's a privately held company. And so unlike kind of some of our larger competitors out there, we don't have a bunch of additional funding and outside funding that we can use for our advertising budgets. And so having social media has given us the ability to really broaden our reach and the ability to compete with a lot of these much larger companies. We keep track, regularly on our engagement in comparison to our competitors, and we regularly, even though we don't have as many followers, we regularly are competing with them on the same level engagement-wise. And that's really, really cool to see, and that's all because of social media. So social media can be very powerful, especially if you have a limited budget and you're a smaller company. So yeah, obviously a big part of that. The next benefit of social media advertising is it's easy to set up. So many of these platforms have made it so simple for people with little to no experience set up their social media ads. From their targeting to their ad creatives to creating the overall look of your ads, testing the ads, creating ad groups, all of this is relatively easy compared to some other platforms such as Google, being, your PPC, more pay-per-click advertising. LinkedIn and Facebook especially, and Twitter, make it so simple for those with no background to set up. Easy to test, so you can get results really quickly. You've got really easy to navigate dashboards, really easy reporting. Everything is right there at your fingertips. And again, they make it so simple for everyone to be able to take advantage of social media advertising. It generates more awareness for your brand. Again, you're reaching so many people. I mean, think about the amount of people, and we'll kind of talk about this later, that are on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. You have almost the entire world at your fingertips when you invest in social media advertising based on your targeting and where you're targeting your audience. It can be all over the world, it can just be locally, but all of those people that are engaged on those platforms, which, I mean, how many people do you know that don't either have a Facebook or a LinkedIn? Almost everyone that I know has one of those platforms. I think the only person I know that doesn't have a Facebook is my husband, which is crazy. But he's got LinkedIn and everything else. And so you're really amplifying your reach across these social channels. And then, of course, another great benefit of social media advertising is it's easy to integrate with GreenUp. And today I'm going to show you how to do that. So social channels and ad types, what's going to work for you? So of course, not every social channel is going to be perfect for your business. Some are more B2B focused, some are more B2C focused. Maybe your audience spends more time on one channel than the other. And so you really have to find what that perfect match is. But in another to that, you also want to make sure that you are making yourself available on the channels where your audience does exist, because that provides that sort of that omni-channel experience, allowing the consumer to get in touch with you where they feel most comfortable. So we often get some support questions come in via Facebook. So it's really important for us to be able to do messaging on Facebook and be able to engage and interact with people who ask support questions via that platform. So that's, so you have to, again, be available where your clients are. So here are two examples of ads that we've done in the past. So one is, the one on the left is a Facebook advertisement. So this is just an awareness campaign. It's to get people to like our page. So we found the biggest benefit for us on Facebook is clout and showing social importance, is social leadership. And so we do monthly like campaigns or brand awareness campaigns to promote our page. And so this was one of our ads. And so that like button is our call to action. The one on the right here is a LinkedIn campaign that we did. And you can see here that this is actually a lead gen campaign. So if you click this learn more, it's going to take you to a sign up form. And the great thing about LinkedIn lead gen is that it makes it so easy for the person to submit their information, because these forms will pre-populate with the information based on their LinkedIn profile. So the focus, again, like I said, today we're going to be focusing on Facebook and LinkedIn. Facebook, more consumer focused, large audience and reach, very inexpensive, super easy to set up, and great for awareness. So that's, again, our goal for Facebook is to generate as much awareness and to build as much social clout as possible. Those are our specific goals for Facebook. And I always say that you need to set goals for what you want to get out of that social media channel. Do not try to set 5 different goals and expect that you're going to hit the results for all of them. Keep it focused. For LinkedIn, LinkedIn is obviously much more B2B focused. It has a very large professional audience. It's a little bit more expensive, but you do get higher quality leads. Again, easy to set up, and there are premium options. So that's a good thing with LinkedIn. Is they do have, if you're willing to spend a little more depending on your monthly budget, they do have premium options where you can actually work with someone to set up dynamic ads. You can set up, vanity URLs, and right now we're kind of going through that process. And they're pretty, they've been pretty responsive and pretty good to work with. Obviously right now it's kind of a crazy time, but we're in the midst of kind of going a little bit above and beyond, because we've noticed that a lot of our campaign touches, a lot of our new leads and clients have at some point come across us on LinkedIn. So we know that that's a very important place for us to be professionally in terms of our advertising as well as generating awareness. And so these are the two that I'm going to focus on today. And they're very, both are incredibly inexpensive, again, compared to what you could see in other places. I do find that LinkedIn is a little bit more expensive, especially depending on your targeting and your, but you can set your budget, your daily budget, so you can keep all of your impressions and your costs within your parameters that you do set. So some Facebook commonly used ads. So for awareness, they've got, of course, different goals. And again, choose your goals wisely, and then stick to, and when you do choose your goal, make sure that your ads match that goal. So for awareness, you can boost a post, boost an event, or promote page. So one of the things that we do a month over month is do a promote page. And this is so that we get more likes on our page. And it's worked really, really well for us. And it's really nice to see that those likes keep going up. And, depending on our targeting, we can pay anywhere from 3 cents a like to 49 cents a like, depending on the audience that we're going after and the ads that we put out. Boosting a post is a great way to get content out that you want to share. It amplifies the reach of that content. So for example, if you have a new ebook, if you have a new blog post, boosting that post can get that content in front of a lot more people. And then boosting events. So if you have a webinar coming up or you have an event coming up, you can boost that and amplify that reach to your audience and get more people to either attend your event, attend your webinar, whatever that event might be. Lead gen, so get more leads and get more website visitors. So you've got two goals there, either to drive them to your website or to actually get leads with a lead hook form. And then of course they also have boost, their Facebook owns Instagram, so you can boost an Instagram post from the Facebook platform as well if you want to do that. And I always say it's good. It's a good way of doing that. Other options are also retargeting, and that gets a little bit more complex. That you actually have to go into their ad, you have to create, a business profile and an ad profile, and then create retargeting ads. And you can set your audience based on your website visitors. We're not going to go too much into that, but let me know if you are interested in learning more about that. We can definitely go into that in another webinar. So here's an example of what, keeping it, and again, I want to keep it simple with this webinar. So here's an example of what you might see when you log into Facebook to create an ad. So again, you've got that boost post, get more messages, get more website, promote your page, boost an Instagram event, promote your business locally, and then of course get more leads. And get more leads is what we are going to kind of focus on in terms of your zaps. Going into LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has a lot of the same types of ads. They've got a little bit different options. Considering the professional nature of the platform. So they've got, for awareness, they have sponsored content, follower ad, which is also really important. This is actually a relatively new one, which we're going to be trying out next month. Brand awareness, video ad, spotlight ad, and text ad. So these three down here, I'm sure you've all seen on LinkedIn how you have those ads on the right-hand side with that little tiny image. Those are what they're referring to, or some of those types of ads. We have tried those in the past. They have not been as effective for us. We usually go the sponsored content route as well as the generate leads, lead generation route. And again, I'm going to show you how to set that up today. And the way that they separate their ads out is through your funnel. So consideration, website visits, engagements, and video views. So obviously video is huge these days. And if you're not doing video, I definitely would recommend it, even turning some of your, images into, slow moving videos, whatever it is, I do recommend testing it out. You'd be surprised to see what video can do for you in terms of engagement. And then for lead generation, they have generate leads, website conversions, and job applicants. So website conversions is going to be geared towards obviously getting website conversions. And so you want to make sure that you set up your conversions in LinkedIn. It will ask you to put a tag, a LinkedIn tag on your website on the pages that you want tracked or that they go to when a conversion has taken place. So for example, if you have a contact us form and they land on the thank you page for that, they've submitted the form and they land on the thank you page, that's where you'd want to put that tag so we can track that conversion. And so here's an example of what theirs looks like. So we've got the brand awareness, the consideration, the conversions. And here is kind of what I was talking about as well. Got the text ad, the spotlight ad, single image, carousel with multiple images, video, and follower ads. So definitely take a look at those and explore. I mean, explore, experiment with what works. I mean, we did not, we've tried so many different, so many different ways of social media advertising, and it changes too. I mean, because these algorithms change, and when LinkedIn wasn't as advertising heavy, we noticed we were getting a lot more bang for our buck. And now that so many people are taking advantage of LinkedIn and they've completely changed their whole advertising format and layout and interface, and made it so accessible for people, costs have gone up a little bit in terms of the bang for our buck that we're getting from LinkedIn. And so you always want to keep sort of thinking about your strategy, trying out new things, and once you find something that works, keep testing and reviewing, and make sure that it's consistently giving you results. And so a big thing that I've always found is a picture is worth 1,000 words. Ad with images, get more engagement, higher impressions, and deliver better results. So I always like to go with ads. I usually go with a single image ad. That has been the best for us. Carousels can tend to be a little bit distracting. So I like one image. Also make sure that you are sizing your images right. Note that on Facebook, they only allow less than 20% of text on your images. So you'll notice a difference in the images and the ads that you see on Facebook versus LinkedIn. For example, Facebook will almost always just be an image, whereas LinkedIn can have text just because Facebook's so stringent with their rules in terms of what you can use for your imagery. And again, just make sure that sizing is right because you don't want your images to be cut off. So I'm going to stop there for a second. Does anyone have any questions about the different platforms, the different ad types, before we get into Zapier and connecting a Greenrope to your social media platforms? All right, no questions yet. So let's get started talking about Zapier and Greenrope. So setting up your Zap. So if you guys haven't used Zapier yet, it's such a powerful tool, so great to create automations and integrations between platforms that normally you wouldn't be able to connect. And it's great for this purpose. One thing I do have to say about Zapier and LinkedIn ads and Facebook ads is you do need to have a premium Zapier account. So just keep that in mind. So the first thing that you're going to do when you get into Zapier is obviously create your Zapier account. And then you're going to connect your profile. So you're going to so a Zap is what connects your social media platform to Greenrope. And so it'll ask you to search for your two apps. So in this case, we have LinkedIn. We chose new form response on LinkedIn lead gen forms. And then we, of course, chose to connect to Greenrope. And then we've got a two-step Zap, and this is actually quite important. You want to create or update the contact in Greenrope, and then you want to activate a workflow in Greenrope. So it's not just enough to create and add them to a group. You want to activate a workflow, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like as well. And so I actually wanted to show you what that looks like. So let me know if you guys can see my screen still. That'd be great. Cool. Thank you. All right, so this is what Zapier looks like. This is what their dashboard looks like. So you're gonna go make a Zap. So you'll first find the app that you want. So in this case, we're gonna look at LinkedIn. So they have our LinkedIn lead gen form. So that's where we're gonna start. And our response here is gonna be new form response. And so that's kind of how you find the Zap and then what you want to connect it to. So once you actually start creating your Zap, it's going to look like this. So we've got our choose app, new form response, choose account. So that's when you have to connect your LinkedIn. Customize your form response, so you have to choose your lead generation form from LinkedIn, and then it will ask you to find data. And then of course that just asks that you just go through testing to make sure that they are connected. Then you click this little plus button and you would connect your Greenrope account. So choose your app, Greenrope, create or update content, you choose your account, customize the content and send data, so the testing, to make sure that you get a sample contact in there so you know it's working. And then the third step is going to be choose your app and event. Of course, that's Greenrope. Choose our account. Customize your workflow. So we want to know we want the email address and then what workflow. So I've got a workflow in Greenrope called Social Media Leads Workflow. So this is the only workflow that I want triggered when they start. When social media leads come in, and the reason is because it's different than, for example, if we have someone that comes in from a live demo on a PPC. I first want to know that they've come in from our lead gen form. Secondly, I want to know, that they either came in from a lead gen form on Facebook, lead gen form on LinkedIn, and have them go through a specific journey that filters them out if they've already put in a demo request, if they're already a leader, they're already a user, and I'll kind of talk about that too. Because some of the lead gen tactics that we've had in the past have been like ebook downloads. And this is another thing to note, is we want to make sure they're entering into the top of our funnel, but we also want to differentiate our leads from social media versus our leads from PPC, who are deliberately requesting a live demo. And the reason is because a lead from social media is typically a lot colder. They're more of what we like to call a marketing qualified lead. They're not deliberately asking for a demo. They're just looking for more information about the platform. Perhaps they're downloading an ebook. And so these are all different strategies we've used to kind of generate awareness, build our top of our funnel, get them in the funnel, and then nurture them. But the way that we're able to separate these from, let's say a more sales qualified lead, someone who came in from PPC who wants a live demo, is by activating a specific workflow that tags them, adds a campaign ID, and sends them through a particular journey. So any questions about Zapier and that setup? Again, you can see this is so simple to use. And we'll get into Greenrope, but obviously you need to have your workflows set up before you can activate the workflow. But I wanted to kind of show this all in one before we got into the Greenrope part of it. And then all you have to do is just turn on your Zap. And you can see here we've got a number of different Zaps that we've used. There's all sorts of Zaps that you can use. I mean, it's limitless in terms of what you could connect, which is really exciting. And just so you know, the same thing goes for Facebook. Facebook leads ads, and you've got so many different options with Facebook. With LinkedIn is a little bit more limited in terms of what you can do. We only use it for the lead gen, and then Facebook lead ads, and then green rope, and then you can select your new lead, and then again you can create that contact and then use that Zap. It is seriously so simple, so easy to use, and so user friendly, and you literally can't go wrong. The big thing I always say is just make sure that you're testing them and you get positive results. That way that you know that they're working. Another thing to keep in mind is occasionally, and especially with LinkedIn, you have to reauthorize LinkedIn. And I'm sure some of you have seen this when if you've got LinkedIn connected to like a social media poster tool, you have to reauthorize the app every now and again, and so it will turn off your Zap if you are not on it. It will email you and let you know that there's an issue with your Zap, and then all you have to do is go and reauthorize the account, but just kind of keep on the lookout, because I've had that happen where Zap has turned off just because we needed to reauthorize LinkedIn, so keep that in mind. You know, I don't know exactly. The question is, how much does Zapier cost per month? Let's check it out here. Let me see if I can get just regular pricing. Oh, come on. Here we go. Yeah, so you've got starter, professional, team, so 3 premium apps. So if you just wanted to do, you know, LinkedIn, you know, you're looking at about $20 a month or $25 month to month. So great deal for what you can get out of it. All right, so now kind of moving back onto creating workflows and journeys in GreenRope. So you want to automate the lead nurturing process, and that's kind of what I just talked about as well, in terms of like why you want to put them into different buckets and send them down different paths depending on what your goal is with these leads, especially if you've got colder or more marketing qualified leads. So setting up your workflows and your journeys. So workflows. And a lot of people, you know, and a lot of you, I'm sure, are familiar with workflows and journeys, but they're incredibly powerful. Workflows are an incredible tool. I mean, they are seriously one of our probably most used features that I use. We have got workflows for everything. They really help you bridge the gap between sales, marketing, and operations, and create seamless experiences, not only for your customers and your leads, but for your internal team. So incredibly powerful tools. Highly recommend everyone you know, utilize the workflow management as much as possible. The one thing that some people, you know, do have trouble with from time to time is that workflows do so much, which is true. They do. So start small, really understand what a workflow does and can do, and don't try to make them too complicated. Sit down, think about your process. What do you want each trigger to do? I always think about it in terms of what's the trigger, what are the activities, and you know, and what does it trigger? So kind of 3 parts. So workflows can add people to groups, add tags, add data, trigger a journey, and trigger follow-ups. Journeys, you can send lead nurturing emails, use decisions to trigger workflows and different paths. So again, you know, some people can, you know, think that that is a little bit confusing because a journey can also trigger a workflow, but a journey is, you trigger a workflow based on a decision or a certain action that someone takes within that journey. So for example, if you know, you've got an email that goes out to schedule an appointment, someone books an appointment, they hit your thank you for booking thank you for booking URL, you can trigger a new booked appointment workflow, which would trigger and let you know that someone booked and might send them on a different path or send them different emails now that you know that they've booked an appointment. You know, for example, those emails, the new emails that you send them wouldn't have a link to book an appointment. And so that's one example of how you can use journeys to trigger different workflows. And we do have webinars on this, and in the next couple of months too, I'm going to be doing a follow-up webinar on journeys, workflows, drip campaigns as well. So definitely look out for that. So here I kind of look at, this is our social media workflow. And so this is that workflow that I showed you in that Zap. So as soon as someone comes in from our LinkedIn lead gen forms, and after they're added as a contact, that third step in that Zap is activating this specific workflow. So what happens here is we give them a conversion stage. So we want them added to the top of our funnel. They technically are a lead. They might not be a sales qualified lead, but they're a lead. So we want to fill our funnel, right? And of course, this is everything that you can do with a workflow. You know, this one's pretty simple. It starts them on a journey. It does not add them to any group at this point because this journey does. It adds MQL to their lead type, so their marketing qualified lead. And then it adds the campaign ID LinkedIn lead gen. So that way, again, we know that they came from LinkedIn, and it's good for our reporting. We want to know what those leads, our LinkedIn leads, are doing. Are they converting? How good of quality are those leads? Is it worth us to keep, you know, to continue spending money in this way? So this journey that you see here, this is a journey that's going to help us filter out specific people. So, you know, for example, let's say we're promoting a ebook on our LinkedIn and a user wants to download that ebook as well. Well, we definitely don't want them to be added into our leads group or go through a lead nurturing journey. They're already a client. That would look like we don't have our, you know, our automation together, right? And as an automation company, we better have our automation together. So this is where Journeys comes in and makes it incredibly intuitive and incredibly easy to, again, create those customized, tailored paths. So decision, are they already a member of GreenUp users? If they're already a member of GreenUp users, we stop them on that journey right there. They can download that ebook, but they do not need follow-ups from us. They do not need to know how great GreenUp is. They already know it, right? Then again, we just weed them out through these couple of different group. So, okay, are they a member of, you know, GreenUp leads? And again, if they're already a member of GreenUp leads, they've already gone through what we're about to put these people through. So we don't need to add them to that. And if they don't meet any of those requirements, then they are added to GreenUp leads, and we activate our MQL workflow. And our MQL workflow then triggers an MQL journey. So that triggers a series of emails all about GreenUp, customer journey, has some ebook downloads, has a, you know, it's more of a lead nurturing campaign that we send our leads through in hopes that one day eventually they'll be interested in getting a demo from us. So let me go into the chat here. Does anyone have any questions about that before I get into sort of our finishing thoughts and then our Q&A? Jason, there were 2 stop notes on that journey. So, okay, so you'll notice I am very particular with my journeys and the way that I lay them out. I do not like spider webs of craziness. I like my lines to be direct. I don't like them crisscrossing. I like a very linear flow that's easy to follow. That's just my personal way of setting up journeys. I would rather use more stops than having multiple lines go in places. This could absolutely go to this stop. Just for me, visually, it made it look a little bit nicer. There is no other reason. You know, I've seen people who literally have, you know, emails going back to, you know, one that's 4 steps back if they don't do, you know, they don't hit a certain decision. And listen, if that's what works for you and that makes sense, perfect. But as you can see, I like I mean, because some of these emails are the same, but I put them in different paths because I just like things going in just things to be very organized. I think it makes it a lot easier for not only myself, but for anybody else to come in, you know, because I might know what's going on, but if someone else were to come in and look at a journey that has, you know, crisscrossing lines and everything, they're good, you know, it might be a little bit harder for them to understand. And so that's why I keep everything very organized and in their specific compartments and paths, if you will. So the formula. So your social media ads, create your ads on your selected channels. Zapier and GreenRope workflow and journeys. Create your workflows and journeys and connect them to your channel via Zapier. And then what you get is seamless automation for new social media leads. So send your new social media leads down personalized paths, trigger follow-ups, and convert more leads into paying customers. And so with that being said, you know, there are 675 million active monthly users on LinkedIn. It's a lot of people. There are 2.5 billion active monthly users on Facebook. With those huge numbers, you know, that is the amount of people that are potentially at your reach when you use social media advertising, and why I think it's such an asset and why it's such a benefit for businesses, no matter who you are, what kind of business, you know, what your goals are, to be active on social media, whether you're just posting or whether you do partake in their social advertising. You know, a lot of us, you know, you might not find that you get a lot of, you know, qualified leads necessarily from some of these platforms. And again, you have to try. You won't know till you try, right? But with such a large audience at your fingertips, I think it's worth trying and, you know, seeing what you can get out of it. So expand your reach, generate more awareness for your brand, save money. Social ads typically cost less, and you'll find that you'll have 100% success no matter what, because at the end of the day, you'll be spending a lot less to generate awareness and get your brand in front of a much larger audience than you would otherwise. So here are some of my best practices. And we talked about this earlier too. Set your social advertising goals. Always choose a goal. You need to have a goal in mind. You know, if you are wanting to do awareness, you probably want to do something that's a little bit, you know, imagery and a message that's a little bit more generalized than something that would be attracting a lead to get a live demo. So make sure that your messaging matches what your social advertising goals are. Define your process. So just like I showed you, I have a very specific process that we go through. You know, but if they come in through social media, you know, they're connected through Zapier, they're added, they trigger a specific workflow, they get a campaign ID, they get a lead type, user field, and then they trigger a journey, which then puts them into the appropriate group. So define what your process looks like. Don't just put them into a large bucket with everyone. Understand how you want to differentiate those leads, and draw it out. Really think about what that process is. Set up your groups, journeys, and workflows. So make sure that you have your groups created in GreenRope. Make sure you have your journeys and your workflows created. Create your Zaps. So make sure that you create and test all of your Zaps and make sure that they are that they're running, they're active, and they're working properly. Test the process yourself. Never, you know, make something live without testing it. That's when you'll find out that you've got problems, or, you know, you'll notice little things that, you know, either weren't updated or, you know, are being sent on accident or what have you. So always test the process yourself and get a couple people to test it. It's always good to have a couple eyes on these things. And then monitor, fix, review, and repeat. And so this is obviously a big one. You know, monitor your Zaps, make sure that they're active, make sure that they're live, make sure that they're triggering, make sure everything is happening. Fix anything that's not. Review your analytics, review your results, what's working, what's not, and then repeat. like repeat whether what works, review or revise, find out what's really going to work for you. And again, this stuff takes time to figure out your perfect, your perfect formula for your own business. All businesses are different. We all have different goals with what we want to accomplish. And again, we all have different budgets too. So you need to make sure that that it's working for your budget. In those of us with smaller budgets, it's great because we can set a particular budget. I do recommend, if you do have a smaller budget, make a daily budget, because oftentimes if you do not set a daily budget, you will find that that entire budget that you set, let's say you've got $500, that can be spent within a day if you do not put a budget, a daily cap. So make sure that you're putting a daily budget cap as well on your overall budgets, especially with smaller budgets. So yeah, that's a kind of my spiel in terms of best practices. And then the last thing I want to say before we kind of get into a little bit more Q&A is sign up for our free certification program. Now is the time. We've got a free certification program that we're offering to all of our users. We usually charge for this program. It's free for one user per account, but we're opening up to everyone. So this is a really great time to jump on board and learn more about the platform. Melissa is our certification manager. If you have any questions about it, you can always reach out to her and ask her as well. There's also a link on our website. We'll be sending that the link to sign up in our follow-up. We'll be sending out the link in the follow-up so that you can sign up for the certification program.
Since this is a recorded webinar, please visit our help section for more information. Contact us via our live chat feature, email us at support@greenrope.com, or give us a call if you have any additional questions.